Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan from the Howard Hospitality Group. Welcome to another video. Hey, today we're doing a video on how to set up your Mega Mini when they come from the factory, direct from Rainy. Hey guys, sorry for the voiceover on the video, but when I recorded this morning, for some reason the microphone stopped working for about a minute or so, and then it came back in. So that's why I'm doing a voiceover, so sorry for that. But this is a video that I feel I haven't seen it done before, and I really feel like it's needed on how to set up these machines, you know, the steps you should take, tools you may need, and basically how to set it up from start to finish, and to get everything kind of dialed in the way that you want it, and also go over the settings of the machine, so then that way you know, everyone is going to set up their machine a little bit different, but at least we can go through the menus and go over, you know, how to set it up properly that, you know, will work for you, and then the choices that you can make on your own, you can adjust it to however you want, but at least you'll know when you're going through the menus, you know, what they look like, and how to go through them. What I'm showing you here on the screen is the video. You know, when the machines come, they're all wrapped in plastic, and so they're, you know, really nicely wrapped up in bubble wrap. And so we take them apart, or you know, unwrap them and inspect them and everything when they show up, and then usually we rewrap our machines and put them back, so then that way, you know, we're ready to build them, they stay in good condition until then. So basically the tools that we've, you know, put together over the years to build these things, and some of them were kind of extravagant, but you know, these are all the tools you're going to need to put it together. And so we'll get back into the video here and go through the tools and how it works, but just wanted to put this in there for you guys, and the audio for the video actually starts back up here now. So thanks for watching, and we'll get back to it. So here we go. So when you get them, usually the tools you're going to need to do this is a very small amount. We have some extra things that we have around that we learned that have helped us, but they're not necessary. But first one you're going to need is a good blade of some kind. So, you know, or a knife or whatever you want to use. We've actually been ordering these for a couple years now, and they're by Work Pro off Amazon. And we really like them because changing the blade is super easy. It just pops open, and then you put a new blade in, and the blades are right here in the back, which pops open, and the blades are right there stored in it. So we've actually really liked these. I guess there's a more known brand now that makes something similar to this. I can't remember the name of it, if it was Stanley or who it was, but they make a version of this too. Maybe it was Milwaukee, I can't remember, but anything like this is what you'll need. Second thing you'll need, which we think is probably one of the best things that we did, is we bought smaller snips, and we used to use big ones, and with, you know, your big hands and tiny little zip ties and stuff, it was really a lot easier to get smaller snips. So buy the smallest snips you can find because they're easier to use. You're gonna need a screwdriver. Phillips, we went and got these. They were having a Father's Day sale or something at Harbor Freight. These are just icons, but the reason we went and bought these is because we didn't have a good, we lost our, we don't know where it went, but we lost our, I shouldn't say we didn't have, but we lost our magnetic tip screwdriver. And you really want to have a magnetic tip because the screws will end up falling into the machine, and then you got to go looking for them. So magnetic tip Phillips screwdriver. And then this was kind of a splurge for us, but we went and bought this on Amazon. It's by Chemo. And what it is it's a little mini ratchet. But what's great about it is that we also bought a 7mm magnetic tip. So the nuts, when you undo them or tighten them down, it's magnetized, so it holds on to them. We also bought a, which we won't be using today, but we also bought a, it's a hollow shaft 7mm, you know, just a screwdriver. Let me grab it real quick. It's over here. Hold on a second. So, oops, I dropped my ratchet. But we bought a, let's see here. Did it follow me? It lost me. There we go. So this is a hollow shaft. I don't know if you can see, let's do it that way. The shaft inside there. The reason that this is key is that when you're installing DBAs, the screw or the, you know, the actual, the bolt, well, it wouldn't be the bolt, I guess it would be the shaft of the bolt, is really long. And if you try to use a normal socket or something like that, they're usually too shallow. So we ended up buying this. It's by Klein Tools. It's on Amazon. It's a 7mm hollow shaft a screwdriver that is great. It's a nut driver, I guess is what it's called. And so this is like one of our favorite tools. So we use this a lot. We won't be using it because we're not really installing DBAs today or changing them out. But it's a great tool to have, and 7mm is the size. So let's get into it. We ordered quite a few machines recently. We ordered a lot of these models, which are the Surf's Up. And I think that this is probably one of the best looking machines that we designed. I really like the colors on this. They are probably, I mean, they fit almost anywhere. You don't really necessarily have to have a surf shop or something like that. If you have anything with really pretty blues or tans or anything like that, they're just a cool looking machine. They have a really nice topper. But we're gonna we use advertising screens on all of our machines, which I'll show you here in a minute. We're firm believers that the marquees don't really do anything other than say the name of the machine, which we can put that on our screen if we wanted to, but the screens allow us to do so much more. Advertise ourselves, advertise the location, talk about how to win the prizes, like their prize locker prizes, how to get in contact with us. Links to our YouTube, our website, I mean, you name it, you can put it on there. Anything that's a photo that's the correct size or a video that's 30 seconds or less, you can put on these screens. And she's now designed the toppers that go on there. They're super cool. So now that our screens are available with remote controls, they actually have the hole where you put your IR sensor in there, and you can control the advertising screen with a remote control. Like, it's pretty slick. So when you first get them, this is what they look like. Usually if you ordered toppers or you ordered extra parts or anything like that, usually they'll stuff them in here. When we get all of ours, we open them all up and pull all that stuff out, and then we organize it on our shelves. We've got you know, all of our stuff organized, all our parts and stuff. So we take all that out beforehand, and then we wrap them back up and store them off to the side. So, but this is what they look like when they come. They actually have a wrapper on the bottom too. But the first thing that I do when I get one is I open all the doors and I undo all the zip ties. So it comes with your keys right here on your joystick. You just take your little snips, cut those off. And then you got your keys, and I go around and I open all my doors. So I open my, this door, I open my, well, yeah, I do open this one too. What's really cool now is on the new ones, this is actually hinged. So before I wouldn't open this until later because it just hung there, but now it's on a hinge, which is fantastic. So she just hinged this. I'll open my bottom door, take off my tape down here. I don't know if you can see me or not, but I'll open the bottom door and I will open the back of my prize locker. So it's all ready for me to install. And then inside your machine is your key for your actual front of your prize locker, which are in here, and they're in a little bag. So it comes with all your keys and including the master key for your prize locker. So I know that one of our competitors has actually switched to these keys now, which is great. So if you like, you know, another brand of machines, a lot of people are going to these keys now. So they should have less issues than we've had in the past with those red keys. Those red keys are absolutely horrible. So I open everything up, check it all out, make sure everything looks connected, make sure that all my wires look good, that everything is, you know, looks satisfactory to me. I inspect them when they come. That's another video that I should probably do for you guys, is a video on accepting machines, a shipment of machines, because there is some steps you should do and things you need to do for Rainy when you receive these machines. So, but anyways, the next thing you want to do first before anything is cut off all your zip ties and your gantry. And the reason that you do that is you never want to turn on one of these machines without removing all the zip ties. So you could burn up motors, you could have all kinds of problems. So come in here, undo your zip ties. There's usually 4, I believe, on the gantry. So 2, 3, there's one more there, 4. So usually this claw is actually usually up in here and usually kind of laying on top of the gantry, and I will leave it up there so it's out of my way. This one wasn't, it was just hanging there along with the zip tie around it. So I'm just gonna let it hang, which is fine, but normally I leave that up there out of my way so I'm not, you know, dealing with having to mess with all that and it being in my way. So do you take all your zip ties off? That's the first thing you do. Inside here is going to be, which is what they say, make sure you do this before you do anything, which is remove the zip ties. So there's your disclaimer right there. You got your power cord in here. You got your keys in here. She usually sends extra switches and extra twine for your claw. Those are in there, and extra fuses for your, so your plug in the back has got fuses, and so she sends fuses and stuff for that. The next thing you're gonna do is you can do it in different steps. It's totally up to you. I usually will build the outside first, and then I do the inside. So I will next put on my topper, so the machine, I get everything connected and I kind of work my way down, is the way that I do it. Doesn't mean that's the right way to do it. You can do it in any order you want. If you want to install your credit card reader, or if you want to, whatever you want to do. We run Kiosoft on all of our machines. We're phasing out all of our Nyax and doing everything Kiosoft. We've had really good service from them. No outages, no problems. We get paid every single day from them. It's fantastic. So we're just really happy with them. And actually, you don't get paid on the weekends, but you get paid on Monday for the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on Monday. But otherwise, you're paid every single day, the following day. We just really like them. So that's what we're switching to. So I will install a credit card reader as we work our way down. But the first thing I'm gonna do is install the topper. And like I said, we use advertising screens on our machines. So you're probably noticing these wires. So when you normally order a machine from her, you're gonna have just this wire back here. And this wire back here is your topper wire for the light on your topper. We did order a few extra Surf's Up toppers just to have on hand, just in case we have a location for some reason that just wants the Surf's Up. We've never had that, but we can put them on there if we want to. So when your machine comes, it'll probably, if you don't order it with an advertising screen, it'll come with just this one cable in the back that you connect. And so, but what's really cool is when you do order an advertising screen, they pre-wire everything for you. So same with if you ordered a Nyax ready machine, it's gonna be wired for Nyax. Kiosoft's already wired directly in this because it's just a splitter cable going to the reader, and the plate is set up for Kiosoft inside here. But if you order Nyax, she'll put the right plate on there and then she'll have it wired for you. But this is the 2 wires you're gonna need for the advertising screen topper. The advertising screen topper is actually pretty cool because it has lights on the side, plus it has the screen in the middle. So This is what they look like. This is the newest version of the advertising screen toppers. What's really cool is that you'll notice that it has the IR sensor here. So you basically, it has a wire that comes out of the screen and you just put it right in here. So you can run the screen on remote control, which is pretty sweet. There's a plexiglass piece that goes in here, and then the screen pushes up against that, and then there's a plate that goes in the back. And but it's already pre-wired and everything, so we're just gonna undo this. I'm not gonna probably put all 4 screws in. I'll save you guys all of that. But usually, when it comes to the screws on the machine, the nuts I'll use that ratchet. But on the screws, I tend to use just a screwdriver. And we also have a stubby screwdriver too that we use sometimes. But I'm really careful with these screws because you don't want to strip them. They're really like a soft metal and they tend to strip pretty easy. So I highly recommend you use the right size tip screwdriver too, like a medium or a larger screwdriver. Don't use the really small one or you'll strip out the screws. So very cool inside. So here's the thing that's already got the hole for the wires to go through. So you just feed these wires into here. The wire for the lights of the actual topper is already inside of here. So it's ready to go. So you just feed these wires in here. And then getting my hair out of your way. So just pull these in like that. And then get your stuff out of your way because you left it all in your way. Okay, so there you go. So there's your topper. This is what it looks like on there, pretty sweet. Like I said, you got the screens in the middle. You'll have a plexiglass piece here. The plexiglass is to keep people from being able to touch your screen. So we've tried with our screens, but they still haven't implemented like a passcode yet. But we like to have that someday. They're working on it, it's on their list. But right now there isn't that. So there's a plexiglass piece that goes over there. Also keeps your screen clean, which is nice. So I'm just gonna put in 1 screw. I'm not gonna go and install all of them. It's just too much. You know, I don't expect you guys to sit me and watch me screw in a bunch of screws. So I'm just gonna screw in 1 and I'll line it up so it looks nice for you guys. Looks pretty good right there. And that way you know how it'll look on the machine. And then right here inside the actual the advertising screen is your connector for your lights. So you just connect that right to the other connector, just like that. And then I usually just tuck this black wire down until I'm ready to plug it into the actual advertising screen because it's got its power already wired to your power supply, ready to go. But that's what it looks like, pretty sweet. I'll even just close this so then it'll be nice and dark so you can see the lights and stuff. But that's the screen. So I would put 4 screws in there, tighten it down, connect my wires. I can do another video for you guys on how to install an advertising screen into the actual thing. It's pretty easy, but won't do all that today. But I do want to show you guys how to install a credit card reader and stuff. I think that's important. But yeah, so that's all good to go. Now what I do is I put the 4 screws in, and then I also put nuts on the bottom. So when you put the 4 screws down, I'll take my nut driver here, and then I will put the 4 nuts down on the bottom where I put the screws through. So then I know whether it's a topper or a marquee, or if it's a, sorry, I almost dropped that. If it's a marquee or even if it's an advertising screen topper, when you're moving these around and stuff, I don't want them coming loose. So I will actually put the nuts underneath also. So I put 4 screws in, 4 nuts, and then this is bolted down. That's really all you need to do inside of here. And then, so let's work our way down. So you don't need to do anything with your gantry. Everything is ready to go. Before I get in here, I do remove my plexiglass walls. There's 2 little, these little plastic screw pieces here. So I take these off. And another thing that I use Did I leave it over there or did I bring it? What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. I usually put this kind of off just anywhere here and put my stuff inside there. So all my screws and nuts I put in there so I don't lose them. It's got a little nice rubber foot underneath it, and it's just a magnetic screw holder when you're, get them for working on cars and stuff like that. So I take out my plexiglass screen. Really simple. I don't remove the other one. I just leave it together like this so I don't have to mess with it. And then down here, what you want to do is be very careful with this floor piece. And the reason being is that this is actually just a really thin piece of styrofoam. And I don't know how many times I've cracked them, but I just take my time when I take them out now. It doesn't hurt it if they get cracked, but what you'll see is it's just a really thin piece of styrofoam. And you can crack them pretty easy, but I try to keep ours intact because what we do that may be different than other people is that we service our machines in our busy locations, can be sometimes weekly. At all of our other locations, the longest we'll usually let a machine go is about 2 weeks. We do have 2 machines that we let go a month. It's a couple of our very first locations that just aren't very busy, but they're kind of friends of the family at this point now, and they really like having the machines, so we leave them there. But they're not, high earners, so we go there once a month for those, and they actually clean them for us. So they wipe them down and stuff when they clean. So we don't, because that's the one thing we're concerned about too, is how clean the machines are for people when they come in. So they actually clean them and stuff. But we always service our machines weekly or bi-weekly, and for several reasons. First reason is that they get dirty. Second reason is that they're busy, so we need to go there and fill them up. And one of the things that we do that is probably different than a lot of people is that we actually put 4-inch knobby balls down in the bottom of our floor, and then we put this on top. So where I was going with that is that's why I don't try not to crack it, because I want this to lay flat on top of the knobby balls. You can put a pillow underneath, you could fill it with whatever you wanted to, and then just put this on the top. But the reason that we do that is if you were to just fill it up with toys from the bottom up and you're servicing the machine every 2 weeks or so, you're never going to get to those toys at the bottom. So you're basically wasting money by even having those toys down there, because they're never going to get touched. And so instead of wasting our money and just on toys that are going to sit in the bottom of a machine, we raise our floor up. So we put the knobby balls in there. We had them on hand. We ordered like 500 or 600 of them for an event, and we've had them ever since. And so we just use them for that now, because we don't use them for anything else. So and over time they kind of get sticky and weird, so we just use them to fill our machines, the bottom of them, and then we put this on underneath, or on top, I'm sorry. So be very careful. It is styrofoam, super thin. It will crack. It doesn't hurt it if it does, but it just, try to take it out nice and easy. Then what you're gonna wanna do is there's 3 screws in here that hold your price chute wall here, and if you look on the side of your price chute wall is your price sensor. So you've got wires that go up inside there, and that's your price sensor, and the black thing that's in the wall on the other side of it is the beam reflects off that black sticker that's on the other side, or rubber piece or whatever it is. It's like a rubber sticker. But when that beam is broken, then that's when it knows that it actually gave out a prize, and it goes, congratulations, or whatever it says. And so it's lined up from the factory. You shouldn't have to mess with anything. Doing this isn't gonna put it out of line. You just wanna kind of make sure you look and make sure that it was straight when you took it off, and as long as you put it back in straight, you should be fine. So the trick I learned is that I use the mirror that's on the back of the machine to line up my screwdriver to where I'll take it off. And this is where the magnetic screwdriver really comes in handy, is for this kind of stuff, because what you'll notice is that it pulls it right out, and I just stick it in my thing, and then I don't lose them. A lot of times they'll be falling all over the place before. So Sam and I love this. Amelia too, when she builds these things, we love having the magnetic screwdriver. It's the little things that over time, see, and even now I can just grab it. you know, over time that just make things so much easier for you. So there's only 3 screws, and I can't really take that camera off the tripod right now, but once you take these 3 screws out, what you're gonna notice is that the wall's off, so now it's movable. But what I do is I just push it back a little bit because it is connected with wires. So I push it back a little bit and then I tilt it forward. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but I tilt it forward. So I pull a little bit of the wire out, you don't want to pull too much, and then I push it forward like that. And the reason I do that is that opens my 4 nuts that I need on the front of the machine. So I'll show you that here in a second. Let me get, there we go. Let me get a little more wire out. So there we go. So then I tilt it down like that and it's out of my way. And then I'll take my ratchet, and then you take the 4 nuts that are in the back here and take them off. So this ratchet is really cool too because it's actually pressure sensitive. So you can go really, you know, really slow, or you can go super fast. And I like that a lot because it allows me to be gentle and not be, you know, ripping stuff off my machine. So I'm just gonna, and then when you're done, the magnetic tip is sweet because then your nut's right there in your hand, which is awesome. So little stupid stuff like that you may not think of, but man, it just makes all the difference in the world, especially when you're building a ton of these all the time like we are. It's like, it just makes your life so much easier. So you don't have to tilt the wall forward either if you don't want to. So you can just push it back. It just depends on how much, like if you're using like a nut driver to undo these, or if you're using like this, which, you know, with this I have more room than I would with the nut driver. So I can just push this back and it's out of my way. I really, now that I have this tool, I'm thinking that, you know, you really don't have to, what I want to say, you don't have to tilt it forward if you don't want to, because it's you know, with this I got plenty of room. Before I had to use a nut driver and you know, I had to have more room, so it's hard to get it in here. But I'm realizing now that if you have a tool like this, you don't need to tilt the wall forward. But so there's my 4 nuts are off. And if you're not doing a credit card reader, you don't need to do any of this. You can just leave it as it is. But when you take the 4 nuts off, behind those nuts is your plate. So this one's set up for Kiosoft. As you can tell, if you were doing Nayax, you would have 4 holes around the outside here. That would be for your Nayax reader. And so, you know, like we're doing Kiosoft, like I said, so that's how ours is set up. So what you'll notice too is, I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but let me get down here and see if it'll follow me down. There's light coming through there now, and that's how I know where to cut. So I'm gonna get my knife and I just follow that light. And so basically, and then what you'll notice is on each corner, it's right here, there's one. And then right here, there's one, I think, and maybe right here and right here on the very corners, there's still a little metal piece left there. So they cut it out except for 4 little metal pieces. So I go around the edge with my knife. If I can get through, I'll go all the way in like that so I don't come out of the groove, right? And then I just follow it again over here, like that, and then down. So I got my 4 slices, right? Then I'll go up in the corners and I'll get over that little bump that's there. So the little bump is what's still connecting the plate to the machine. So I just kind of go over those by hand, real slow. Take your time. When you put the reader in here, you're not gonna see, you know, the imperfections and stuff. So once you got it all cut, I've learned, well actually Sam taught me this, that his way of doing it, which is actually pretty sweet, you just take your hand, let me get this out of my way, and you just go like this. And it pops right in. And that's pretty much it. Like, he taught me that without using a tool. So you're not, you know, using your hammer or anything like that. Just be careful along these little edges because these little pins are still there, so I always break those off. And then just kind of smooth it out. But just when you do that, you know, watch those little pins, you don't poke yourself, that are still remaining on there, but you can just bend those out of your way. And there's your hole. And that's pretty much it. You can toss this piece, you don't need it anymore. And you're gonna mount your credit card reader to the plate. And then from the back side, you'll push it through and connect it. And that's it. So that's how you connect your credit card reader and get it ready to go on your machine. And so I will, I'm not gonna go into installing like a Kiosoft and stuff for you. I just wanted to get you guys kind of set up with the machine itself. But seriously, it's that easy. You just take your Kiosoft, slap it on there, put your 2 little nuts on there, come from behind, stick it back on like that. The reader will come through, tighten down your 4 nuts back on there again, and then run your cable down through the hole to your DBA, because with the Kiosoft, they come with a splitter and it just connects right to that. So then all you're gonna do is, which I'll show you right now, I can do that, but you're gonna bring your wall, once you get the reader installed, you're gonna bring your wall back over here, line it up, put your 3 screws back in with, you know, that you have here, and that's it. So make sure that your ply chute is nice and straight. You know, the metal's nice and straight, it's lined up straight. And then if you want to just put the base back in, you can, or if you want to raise it up like we talked about using, you know, your own method, you can do the knobby balls, or you can do, like I said, you can do a small pillow or whatever you want to put under there. You just raise it up a little bit, and that saves you money. So hopefully that'll help you guys. It's kind of one of the tips that we found out over the years, is that it saved us quite a bit of money on buying, you know, more toys to put down there that we'll never use. So that's how you install your credit card reader. That's simple, really, really easy. And so I won't be installing, I will be when I get off the camera, I'll be installing our reader. So now to go down, we run stackers on all of our machines. Now, I don't know what you guys prefer, but we used to run regular dollar bill acceptors, DBAs, that were standard, that came with it. But now we've upgraded every single one of our machines to her Top, they're called Top is the brand, stacker units, and we've been very happy with them. They are phenomenal. So I think they're even more solid than anything that we've used that's a name brand. I mean, I know Top's a brand, but as far as like Pyramid or any of the others, we've been very happy with them. You know, we haven't had anything go down. We haven't had any issues. You're always gonna have people putting stuff in there, you know, sticking stuff in them. But as far as them working, they just work. And the cartridges are super solid. So I recommend, if you can, you know, spend the extra $125, I think it is, to upgrade to the stacker units, because it comes with the one, which is standard. But what she does is they're normally $185 for the stackers. But if you order it with the machines, they're only $125, because she takes the $60 standard one off and puts on this, so they're only $125 to upgrade. So we upgraded on all of ours. We ordered some of our original ones without it, and Amelia and Natalie hated them. So, and you know, you get your money salad, you know, inside with all that. So that was something that, you know, they absolutely hated. Also inside, if you're ever wondering, you know, you're gonna have a QR code inside your door that's gonna have your manual and all that. But yeah, so this is how you install credit card reader, topper. If it was a like a marquee, like the Surf's Up marquee that's over here, if it was something like that, you would just plug in that black and red cable that's in the corner of it. You would plug that into the topper and then put your four screws in. It's that simple. I would reinforce it with nuts. It is, these screws are threaded through there, but I highly recommend that you put nuts on the other side just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Then as far as your credit card reader, you just remove your plexiglass, remove your base or your bottom part, take out the 3 screws,
get the wall out of your way, undo your 4 bolts, cut it out, pop it out, put in your reader, whichever reader it is, Kiosoft or Nayax, and then you're good to go. As far as setup, that's it. I mean, there really isn't much more to it. We'll turn it on here in a second and I can show you, but just so you can see like the topper working and stuff. But you know, we already undid all of our zip ties and everything. Everything's ready to go. And then I'm gonna go into settings and go over all of that with you too. So let me actually install our reader real fast, and then I will come back and we'll plug it in and we'll turn it on and see how it works. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay guys, I'm back. So I got my credit card reader installed. I don't know if you can see it down here or not. Let me go down a little bit so you guys can see. Oh, is it following me? Let me see if it'll follow me. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right, so I got my credit card reader installed down here. I don't know if I have to get down so you can see. There we go. So I got my credit card reader installed. I got my wall put back up. I got my plexiglass put back on. I got my little floor back in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this little tray because I don't need that anymore with my parts. I didn't plug this in yet, so I'm gonna plug in my my credit card reader. I'm gonna run that through the back. There's a couple of the things that we do that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I was thinking about while I was installing this. There's a couple things with the credit card reader that I recommend when you're installing, whether it's Nayax or Kiosoft, is that don't bolt down your credit card reader all the way to the plate. Make that the last thing you do is bolt that to the plate. The reason being is that the plate needs to shift and the reader's gonna have to shift in the hole to get that back plate on. So we just we don't even hand tighten it. We just a little bit loose from tight. We put the nuts on the back of the reader and then we put the plate into the hole. We bolt down the 4 bolts or the 4 nuts on the plate, and then we'll tighten down our credit card reader. So we tighten that down last. That's one of the tips that we learned over doing so many of these, is that if you tighten it down before you try to put on there, you end up loosening it anyways to get it to go onto the 4 bolts. So don't tighten down your credit card reader until the end. That's one. Let me go back here and where's my key? And let me run that wire down real fast. And I will show you, I'll show you to see what's great about these machines. Oh, another thing I want to talk to you guys about, which we're gonna set up in the settings, is there is a motion sensor on these machines. And what we've learned over time with the motion sensors, motion sensors, or shake sensors, or whatever you want to call it, is that it seems like no floor at any of our locations is flat. You could have tile floors, you could have just floors that aren't even, because these machines are completely flat on the bottom. There's no adjustable feet or anything like that. So unless you're running a cloth stand, which we do at a ton of our locations, but if you're not running a cloth stand, we highly recommend you take off the shake sensor. The pendulum or the little weight that's inside here, there's a weight that hangs. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'll take it off so you can see. So you just pull this off. This is your weight. And then in the settings, we'll also turn it off. But this keeps, what happens is that if somebody's playing this and it rocks, which these minis, I mean, that's the reason we designed the cloth stand, is because they're very easy to shake and tilt. And so if they do that and this gets touched against the side and the sensor goes off, it resets their turn and they lose their money. So you're gonna end up with a lot of unhappy people if they're playing your machine, and because your floor is uneven, you know, they're losing their turn. It's not their fault. So we take that off because it's very sensitive. And we also turn it off in our settings, and we also use a cloth stand wherever we can because we don't want people shaking these anyways. But I highly recommend you take that off also. And so we remove those, we do that. I'm just gonna run this back through here. Really simple. You basically come back here, you run it down I usually go over these wires up here, so then that way it's away from my coins. And then I just drop the 2 little connectors down through the hole back here, right there. And what's great about Kiosoft, which is why we love these things so much, so you'll notice that this is now away from the coins dropping down my wires, so I'm not gonna have any issues with them getting connecting or anything. But what's great about this is that here's my 2 connectors. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you just undo your DBA like that. One connector, the male side, goes into the female on the machine side. So let me connect that right there. And then this goes into the female side or the male side on the DBA. Make sure they click nice and good. And that's it. Your Kiosoft's connected. I mean, that's how easy it is. We also usually remove one or both of these little zip ties right here. Usually just this one. So then that way it has a little more pull. So when you open your door, you're not stretching your cables. We usually just undo that first one right here against the hinge right there. So then that way it has a little more, because we tend to be in a hurry and we're opening the door. You can undo both of them, it doesn't hurt anything. But we usually leave one on and undo the second one. But now our Kiosoft's connected. It's that easy. And so now we can turn it on and see how it goes. So I got it ready here. Let me close this door. So, a couple things when you first turn on the machine. If you plug it in and it doesn't turn on, don't freak out, okay? Because there's actually 2 power switches on these machines. There's a power switch right where you plug in the cord, and there's a power switch behind your coin mech door right here, straight in there. Which that one's on, I could tell, because whenever the line, not the circle, but when the line is selected, that means that's on. I can tell by this one that this one's also on, the line is up. So when we plug this in, it should work. But if you do plug it in at home and it doesn't come on, don't freak out. Check both your switches and make sure that they're both connected. So let's turn it on or plug it in. There it is. You can hear the dollar bill acceptor turned on. And also when you turn it on, your music's gonna be super loud. So we're gonna turn that down real fast. So we're gonna go to our menus, which I will show you all this in a second. I'm just gonna do it so we can talk. Okay. Okay. So I just turned off the music. I left the play music on, but I turned down that music. So what's really cool is you'll see this is all lit up. So you'd have your screen playing, it's got color changing lights, and you can mess with the colors and change and do that kind of stuff with these, which is pretty cool. Our Kiosoft reader is trying to connect to the modem, but we don't have the modem plugged in, so it's gonna keep trying, but it is on, which is good, it's working. Our gantry came up to the front position, which is perfect, so that's working just fine. The DBA is changing colors, so it's working good. Our coin mech, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna have to put a quarter in here. So right here where it says replace coin, you're gonna wanna pull this up right here and slide a coin in there, a quarter. Or if you're Canadian, you use you know, the Canadian money, whatever, put in there. I can't think of the name of it right now. You'll put the coin in there, whatever you're using, or you know, in the UK, whatever you guys use for coins, that's what you'll put in there, whatever you want to take, and it'll adjust to the size and then know what to take. Other than that, it's ready to go. If you ever come to a location and this is like floppy, not bounce back like that, like not springy, it usually means there's a jam. So even if there's a blue light on, always check to make sure this is springy. That's a good indication that you don't have a jam if it's springy. So a couple of tips there. But yeah, so this is how you set it up, and then that's it. There really isn't much more to the actual build of the machine. I do want to go over the settings with you guys and show you how we set ours up, but I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and stuff and actually hold it in my hand, and I'll go through the menus with you guys and show you how we set ours up. So let me get the camera ready and do that, and we'll go from there. So be right back. Okay guys, we're back. So I wanted to go over real quick before we get into the menus. I wanted to show you a couple things. So when we were talking about you know, inside here and doing our wall and stuff. So when you look inside here, here's your actual base, and then this is your wall. And underneath here, let me grab this. So I'm gonna try to be super careful with this floor right here, without cracking it. Oh, and it's got those little things there too. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Usually that's why I take out the walls and stuff before I try to take this thing out, but I will try without breaking it. Okay, there we go. So when you take this out, down below here, you got a screw there, right here. And then you have 2 screws on the back, right there and right there, and that removes this wall. Inside here, where that little box is, that is your prize sensor, and it actually has a manual adjustment where that hole is, so you can adjust it if it's not seem to be working. You can turn it up or down and adjust it right there. So you remove that wall, and then behind that wall are your 4 screws that you connect your credit card reader to. Show you that so you can kind of see. Also, I wanted to show you. So on the advertising screens, so when you bring your wires up through, it already has here that you connect your lights to, and then you got your connector for your advertising screen, which is awesome. So your plexiglass goes here, your little sensor goes in there, you got a plexiglass, and then you put your screen in, and then right inside here, there's a plate that mounts in there that holds the screen in, which is very cool. So that's how that works. Then underneath here, like I was telling you about, like when you put your screws through, I don't know if you can see that or not, but they do come through, and then you put your 4 nuts on the bottom of your screws. Also wanted to show you, so there's your QR code for the machine. So if you need to get the manual, it's also online. These are the stacker units that we use on our machines. So this is the top version of the stacker. That's the brand Top. They're super solid. So you pop them off, flip it over. Your money's all inside there. Really nice, heavy duty. Very impressed with them. I think they're pretty awesome units. And then you have your coins right here this is where your coins will drop in. You collect your coins. Excuse my finger on the screen. Then inside here is that other switch I was talking about. So see the switch right here? So if this was on circle instead of line, then that would mean that it was off. But it is on, lights on. You got 2 buttons here, one to add credits, which is the green button. So that's the one that if you wanted to test the machine, you could add credits to it, test it. And then the top one is how you get into your menus, which is where we're gonna go now. So the top one's always the one you want for your menus. And then you have factory manual counters also to keep track of stuff inside there. But that's other cool parts that we love about this thing. Let me grab the key. Is that, you know, inside here is, you know, all your stuff. So you got power supply right there, 4 screws, take it out. Now they come with dual power supplies. We ordered these before she switched to dual, but you have the ability to do dual power supplies. This is where you change your colors and stuff on your advertising screen and how you want them to, how fast you want it to go, and different colors or speed. That's where that is all wired right there, so you can change that real easy. There's your board, your fan, which has also been added, which is awesome. But everything's right here. 4 screws, take off your board. 4 screws, take off your power supply. Inside is right here is where pendulum, that little pendulum weight was hanging, and that's what I took out. So then that way we wouldn't have it. You can also leave it in there and just disconnect, you know, the wire if you wanted to, but we just take it out so we don't have any issues. But that's all back here. Pretty sweet, right? So let's get into the menus and go over those with you guys. So see if I can make sure you guys can see. So let me push the red button right in here. And then up here is your menus. So let's go through them and I'll show you what we change and what we leave the same. There's some stuff we don't mess with, but a lot of things we do change. So we're gonna go into, press the button to go into basic setup. Coins is always, when it comes, it's on 4, which is good. So that's 4 quarters or 4 coins, depending on what you're using, is 1 game. So 4 coins, 1 game. Bonuses you can set up. That's a whole nother video on how to do bonus plays and stuff inside the machine versus just using the credit card reader. If they put in a $5 bill, you can do bonus plays, stuff like that. Time is how long do you want them to play? So 30 seconds is pretty good. It used to come at 20 and they switched to 30, and I think 30 is a good number. So 30 seconds is good. Crane position F is front. So what that means is that your prize chute is in the front. So crane position, if your prize chute was in the rear, that would be an R. So right now, because the crane is in the front, that's good. If you ever have where your claw will go to the back corner and just sit there, and then when it goes to drop a prize, it's dropping it in the back corner, check this setting, because you might have accidentally changed that to rear and is trying to drop it back into your play area instead of the front. So if you do run into that issue, that could be your setting that you're looking for. So air grab, I don't know how familiar you guys are with claw machines, but professional claw players, they like to do air grab. And air grab means that when you go to play the machine, you press one button and it goes down, right? And then it just automatically kind of goes wherever it goes. It falls off to the side or whatever. Well, air grab allows you to press the button again and then it'll grab it midair. So like if you wanted to grab just the head of something and you didn't want the claw to go all the way down to the bottom, you want to stop it and grab at a certain height, you can do that with air grab. But we turn that off. And the reason we turn that off is because when you have little kids playing the machines, which is probably going to be most of what you're having, unless it's in a really professional setting somewhere where you're going to have a lot of adults playing, but that know how to play claw machines and know what air grab is, which is kind of rare. Kids get excited and then they press the button a bunch of times. And what will happen is it'll go down and they'll press the button again and it'll close and they lose their turn. So we don't like that happening, so we turn that off. Sensor we want on, that's your prize sensor. Anti-tilt we turn off. So that was that pendulum or that weight that hangs. We turn that setting off. Even though it's not there to go off, we turn it off anyways, just because we don't want something touching the metal in there and turn it, setting off something. So we turn that off. F2P stands for free to play. So if you wanted to set up the machine on free to play, you can do that. You would just turn that on. Make sure you turn it off, but you want to leave that off most of the time. Otherwise you won't be getting any money. So language you don't mess with. This is where I changed the music. So this was on, I don't know what it was on when I got it, but I changed it to mute. So I think it was on an 8 or 9 or something, or I don't remember what, or loop maybe. I don't remember what it was on, but we always put these on mute. So, and it'll do that to you. So, which is fine. That doesn't mean anything. That just means you turned it off. So it's warning you turned it off. And then the background music, we also mute. So we turn both those on mute and we turn our volume to 6. 6 seems to be the best for most of our locations where you can hear it playing, but it's not super annoying. So we don't want it to be super annoying. So we always turn it to 6. So that is the first set. So that's set A. Let's go to B. So our probability, we run our machines around 1 in 8. You can run your machines at whatever you want, but the 10 stands for 1 in 10, 1 in 8, 1 in 7, 1 in 6, whatever you want to do. We don't mess with the retam. We don't. Now the vend mode is totally up to you. So when you get your machine, you can look at the different vend modes and choose. You can have it on fixed, where it's fixed 5, means every 5th turn it's going to pay out. You can do it on random, where it's supposed to pick anywhere between 1 and 5 and randomly do it. And then there's G1 and G3. I can't remember offhand which one's which, but if you read the instructions, you can see, and then you can choose whether you want it on G1 or G3 or fixed or random. Totally up to you. It's just how you want your machine to run. It's like some people run them on fixed. Some people run them on random, some run them on the G1 and G3. So totally up to you. Price off, we don't mess with that. Gift mode off, we're not doing gifts and any of that stuff. That's a whole another also another video, and we don't want to get into all that right now. So we're going to go down to parameters. This is where you set up your claw. So right now it's set at the strength of the claw at 40 volts. That's pretty good. I wouldn't go any higher than that, and you can go lower if you want, but I would not go any higher than 40 volts. And what that does is that's how much electrical charge it gives to, or power it gives to the claw. And if you go too high, you'll burn up your claw. So I would not adjust this unless you're having some problem with it grabbing something, but you should be able to grab most stuff with it at 40 and not have any issues. So the S time, we turn this to 0.3. And what this is this is the, when it goes, it grabs something and it goes back up, and then it looks like it drops it. The one that we found the best for that to look the most natural is 0.3, but you can adjust that. So if you want to play with your claw, grab something and see when it goes up and acts like it's gonna move, or it just goes up and looks like, see if it looks natural. If not, you can adjust that up and down depending on your machine. They're all a little bit different, but 0.3 seems to be the best for us. So W claw is your weak claw. So when you press the button, let me go down to weak claw first. So when you press your button, you can see that it doesn't close. So we're gonna up this. So now it's at 15, probably try 15.5, and it barely closes. So that's what they say that you want to set it at. We tend to go one more than that, so we're at 16, so it's not super snappy. Let's try 15 and see what it does. Yeah, see, it barely closes. So 15.5 is pretty good. So what you want is it to barely close, but I feel like that's still hesitating a little too much for me. So I'm gonna go a little bit more, because what's gonna happen is that this claw is gonna break in, and you're gonna have to adjust these in about maybe 2 months or so after it's had some playtime. You're gonna have to adjust it and change it again after the claw's broken in, because now everything's really stiff. So that's pretty good. And then whatever you set your weak claw to, you always do the LG&V 0.5 higher, so 16. So that will be your settings. Now, the way to test your claw is to find the lightest item that you're gonna have in your machine, whatever it is, the least amount of weight. You're gonna put that in there and you're gonna play with it and make sure it picks it up and that it does it well and that it looks realistic. And then you can adjust these up or down depending on how it looks. So you wanna do it by the lightest item. So let's go back. Excuse me guys, sorry. AI mode, we don't mess with. Rope length, we turn this up to 50. So when it'll go all the way to the bottom and then grab and then come back up. You know, we don't want to, for some reason, not be able to service our machine and the claw is like grabbing midair because it's not going down. That's your rope length. So we turn that to 50. These, your front and back, these are set on faster from the factory, and that's way too fast. So we set all our stuff to slow. So front and back, so this is what that means, front and back, left and right, and then up and down. And we like our up and down on slow, because then when it goes pew and goes down, it like brings more excitement the longer it takes to go down. If you go down to slower, I'm really worried that it might, you know, mess with the rope, so I'm not gonna go slower, but I'll go down to slow. We don't mess with the delay or the top or adjust or any of those, release or any of that stuff up and any of that. We don't do anything with those. We go to return. When you go into accounts later on, so after you've had your machine at the location for a while, you can go into here and see. So this is at 0 right now because it hasn't been played, it's brand new. But you'll see how much people put in. So this is gonna be all time. So online coin and coin insert, those are gonna be all time numbers. So it's the beginning of the machine. This is the current coin and current price. So this is the one that's gonna say, since you were here last time and reset it, you had this much money come in and this many prizes go out. And this is how you tell what your ratio is. So whatever the current coin is, you divide that by 4, and then you see how many prizes depending on how much money you put in there. So you can see what your ratio is. So we're gonna go down and return, and then when you leave, you're gonna want to go in here and you're gonna want to clear it. So you're gonna go into date clear, you're gonna go hit enter once and enter twice, and that will clear it. So then next time you go in, it'll be back at zeros again for your current coin, so you can see how you did since your last visit, if you want to check on that stuff. Other than that, we don't mess with any of the settings. What I'm going to show you is, so let me go here. Let's see. I'm gonna go into my menus and I'm gonna put it on free to play so I can show you with the difference in the, so I'm gonna turn that on, right? And then I'm gonna show you the difference of the speed so you guys can see. So right now this is how it's set, right? So you see how it's moving, which is pretty fast, right? That's way fast to me. Okay, so then you hit the button, goes down, grabs, comes back up, right? And it goes all the way to the bottom, which is good. So we want it to go all the way down, so we tested that. Now watch this. So if you go down to this again, go in here, and you set this to speed to fast, like it was. I don't know if it was on fast or fastest. I can't remember what it was at. I think it was on fastest. Right? So let's just do fast even. The other thing they can do is they can, you know, bang your claw around, which I don't really like that either. And a lot of people do that where they do this swing it out and so watch this now. See what I mean? Like you can really like gang it around on fast, and then when it goes down it's like super fast. And to me, like that just is looking for issues. I don't, you know, it comes back super fast and slams. I just don't, I think this is what, and it's just, I don't know, I think that's way too fast. So we run ours on slow. You can do it however you want. I'm not telling you how to run your machine, but I'm in for the longevity of it and wanting it to last and not get banged around, and kids are kids. So but that's how you set up your machine. So, I mean, they look really good. This is the Surf's Up. I didn't really get to show you the side, but that's what it looks like on the side with the topper, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, I mean, questions, concerns, you know, you haven't ordered before and you need help ordering, let us know. We can, you know, get quotes for you and stuff from Rainey. You can always contact her direct. The wraps and the claw stands and the advertising screens, those are all available on our website. But we're always happy to answer questions. If you're new, you don't know what you're doing, or you're getting ready to order, or just getting in the business, we'll be happy to help you get some stuff put together. But let us know. We're always here. Hopefully this helped you guys. Great machines, love them. Had great luck with them, and can't beat the price. So, but anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.